Welcome in, everybody, to the Legislative Lounge. This is the 30th episode of the Legislative Lounge. Mike, I don't know if you even know that, but
Oh,
this is the
I didn't.
30th.
I didn't know it. Um, why have we really had 30 episodes?
On this platform, yeah, but I mean, obviously, if you want to count the radio show on Saturday as well, then we're well past it. But
That's like 41 episodes in total. So,
yeah, a little bit like that, yeah, for
yeah.
sure. But what is also special about tonight is the fact that it is the eve of the 100th day of the second Trump administration. So tonight we're going to take a look at some of the achievements or not achievements. And we're going to give a fair grade on them, honestly, because there are some things that I've got some issues with. I've got some
Oh
issues.
yeah. If you've been watching me and Nate for a while, you know we call out the bullshit.
All right. So, I mean, what is so right now talking about everything that's going on? Obviously, we have, the markets and stock and all that. The trade deals are right on the brink, right? China's folding, which we'll get to and explain what's going on there. People are losing their absolute minds here in America. Today there was an individual. I don't know what the hell it is. Whether it's man, woman, shimmin, I don't know. Somebody in Congress, this person, I can't tell if they're male or female, entered in 7 articles of impeachment today. 7. So
Man,
that'll be
talk,
interesting.
talking about going overboard.
I mean, you just think about it. Like, what are you doing? First of all, one piece of legislation for articles of impeachment at this point is absolute waste of time. It won't even get to the House floor.
you know, it's just another piece of evidence of Democrats just wasting American taxpayer dollars. So,
I don't. Maybe Shimon can explain why they did it.
yeah. You know us.
But
Uh we support our women. So you go, uh, dude. Et thing. Yep.
whatever. If y'all don't know what we're talking about, definitely go look them up. Their name is Shri Thandar. Thindar. They're a representative in the House of Representatives. I've never heard of them. I couldn't tell, but whatever it is, what it
Random representatives are coming out of the woodwork.
and that's honestly that's a shock to me because I've literally never heard of this person. I pretty much know all 535 members of Congress.
I saw
Um,
that this morning. I was like, what in the chipmunk is going on here?
who is that? But anyways, 100 days is tomorrow, guys. Put in the chat if you're here with us live. What is your overall grade of the Trump administration through the first 100 days? Technically, it's 99 today, but through the first 100 days, put it in the chat. A minus, B, F, whatever you feel. But Mike, before we get into the nitty gritty with the overall, you know, itemizing everything going down the list, what is your overall grade for the Trump administration?
Overall, I would give a B minus.
B minus. Okay. You want to elaborate on why?
Well, he's head of the executive branch, and I feel, and I don't really like to do feel thanks or beliefs, but I feel that being the head of the executive branch, I would see more action enforcing the law and holding people accountable for their actions. Like, for example, interfering in foreign policy negotiations. For example, some lists that we're supposed to already have. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so there's some stuff that I'm just not exactly happy about, but overall, I'm good with the progress thus far.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say a B, so I was a little surprised when you said B minus. I thought you were gonna give it a little bit better grade, but that's just my opinion is a B, and it's basically the same thing. Like I think that there are promises that were over over promised, I guess you could say, and under delivered up to this point, and some of them haven't been delivered, which should have been within the first day, as they claimed. So we're gonna
See,
definitely go through them and take a look at them. So, but right off the bat, we'll take a look at some of these documents here. Just some stats right off the top for President Trump's 100 days of historic accomplishments. I love how they always kind of put those, you know, big words of like, oh, look, it's massive, it's the biggest, it's the greatest. I can't do it.
It's the greatest deal of all time.
Gotta put the gotta put the lips into it. But
I made
getting
all the promises. These are all my promises that I kept.
but taking a look at it, the accomplishments that were listed by the White House themselves, getting government out of the way. President Trump has done more to stop the government from interfering in the lives of Americans in the first 100 days than any other president in history. I somewhat agree with that in a sense. I think there are caveats to it. I would give that about a B plus personally, just based off of that, because there are caveats to it of we want to see people arrested. We want to see people held accountable for what they've done, things of that nature. But President Trump has signed 13 congressional review acts, resolutions in the first 100 days, more than any other president. These resolutions nullify unnecessary regulations and block agencies from reissuing them, which is vital because you have these three-letter agencies, that going all the way back to when they got rid of the what's that one act with the three letter? I'm having a brain fart now, Mike. You know what I'm talking about?
Three-letter X? Nah, I can't remember.
The Supreme Court case, Chevron deference.
Oh,
Good
Chevron
Lord,
deference.
going back to
See,
that. So
talking about the regulatory thing.
yeah, there. So that's definitely, but slashing regulations, allowing manufacturing, oil, all that stuff to ramp up was definitely part of his promises. He's absolutely done that in a lot of his executive orders. So I give it a B plus on that area when it comes to that. Since the CRA resolutions were introduced under President Clinton, they've been used only once under George Bush. The Wall Street Journal's editorial, so far, the Trump administration is a welcome improvement, rolling back more regulations than any president in history. And that's the Wall Street Journal. They're very liberal.
Mhm.
So it's nice to see
Oh,
that
yeah.
there actually is some news coverage out there that isn't all damning of Donald Trump and everything that he's doing, like we've seen over the last 3 months. But taking executive actions in the office, President Trump has accomplished more in the first 100 days than any other president since Roosevelt. And they detail a little bit here about what it is. Says that President Trump will have signed over 30 executive orders during his first 300 or 100 days to ensure agencies throughout the government enforce his agenda. Now, that's not just 30, right? It's talking about 30 specifically that are in regards to these agencies, the DOJ, all this other stuff, right? Obama signed 19, George Bush signed 11, Clinton signed 13, George H.W. Bush 11, Reagan 18, Carter 16, Nixon 15, Johnson 26, Kennedy 23, Eisenhower 20, Truman 25, and Roosevelt at 99. He got some work done back in Roosevelt's time. But I know Roosevelt wasn't a crowd favorite. Let's just put it that way. A slew of legislation has been signed, which I was actually a little bit shocked at how much. Because honestly, I've been very critical of Congress, Mike. I don't know about you, but it just
Yeah.
feels as though they haven't done anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it
But
was 28 pieces of legislation signed into law.
yep, right here it says is enacted 28 laws. I didn't even realize it was that much. So I'm gonna have to go back and do a little bit more research, which I'm shocked that I'm not up to date on these. But I
But
thought it was somewhere around 10 to 15 because I was like, I haven't seen nothing passed,
the most
basically.
recent one, I think, was HR 1968.
Okay. But
So,
so from the 28 laws that Trump did, Obama 11, Bush Jr. 7, Clinton 24, Bush Sr. 18, Reagan 9, Carter 22, Nixon 9, Johnson 10, Kennedy 26, Eisenhower 22, and Truman 55. Man, they were busy back then.
yeah. Well, I mean, They didn't have social media.
True. But I mean, just based off of that, like, not even getting into the nitty gritty of everything, Mike. What are your thoughts on just seeing the action at that point?
You know, it's not some when it comes to legislation, it's not Trump's fault. It's 100% Congress's fault, 100% the Republicans' fault. And I think there needs to be more action taken by the Republicans and taking all these great executive orders that Trump has signed and putting them forward into legislation so we can put them as law. That way, the next
Absolutely.
administration can't, nix them.
Absolutely. 100%. I've been saying it for before Trump, like for the last 4 years, we've been trying to like rah rah for Trump and get him elected, which we did. But I also tried to more so, honestly, get people to realize, look, Trump is great. We need Trump. Need to get him in there. But if we get him in there, and we don't focus on who's in Congress, then what's the point? He can't do
Exactly.
anything.
Exactly. And
And
it's
that's
one
why
thing.
go ahead.
It's one thing to enforce the law, get foreign policy is great, tariffs are great, trade policy is great, negotiating these deals are great. However, if they're not legitimized into law, we're
Mm,
screwed.
that part. And that's why we're pushing so many people to pay attention to 2026 elections. There are 13 seats in Congress that are up for election just on the Democrat side. Like,
Mhm.
we could easily get a super majority. 4 of them, I believe, aren't even running for reelection.
Yeah,
So
they're
that's
retiring.
great.
That's fantastic. We need to get Republicans in there.
And here in Texas, we're trying to get rid of a rhino in John Cornyn and replacing him with Ken Paxton, who is our pit bull of a AG here. So that's going to be a phenomenal win. Like, you could think that, oh, that's just breaking even. No, it's not. No, it's not. John Cornyn is a 50-50 voter. If you look at his registration, his voting record, it's 50-50 and it's bad. So
Yeah,
that is absolutely a win for us, even
yeah.
though it doesn't change the numbers, supposedly.
I dropped the ball on figuring out who's up for election come 2026 here in Arizona. But don't worry, I will present us a list and I'll post it on social media. That way, you Arizonans, my fellow Arizonans, know who to focus on. We definitely need to get that attorney general out of there because she doesn't know the law. She thinks that
Absolutely.
tariffs are taxes.
All right. And I mean, we're going to be hitting it every episode. So that way y'all remember. So please share this live and tell people about the channel, tell people about the Facebook, the Rumble, the YouTube, everything. We can't do anything about TikTok anymore because they banned our account.
Yeah,
No violations,
uh,
zero comment violations. They banned our podcast page for absolutely no reason. So we're not going to be starting a new one on there.
and it's not like we didn't use the account. We may not have posted on it, but we utilized the account as far as gaining traction on our personal pages, right?
Right.
Sharing our own videos because we honestly couldn't get traction at all on that account. TikTok super censored us on that account, which I've never seen before.
Right. And that's one, since we're on this subject, that is going to be one contention that I have with the Trump administration because that was a huge piece of his campaign in regards to the censorship of social media and news in general of conservative voices. We haven't seen much of anything. Like, yeah,
Six,
he's extended the TikTok ban twice, but nobody cares because they ain't doing anything about it.
if
They're not
any,
fixing the censorship,
if anything, we're censored more.
right?
Like, when's the last time? Well, what is it? Every 15th video, I get 1,000 views, maybe.
I mean, last night I was taken down in a guest box, Natalie's live, that we were going back and forth about, and I was showing documents from a .gov, and I was taken down for misinformation. When I tried to appeal it, and I went off on the person because they have that new chat feature with an actual live person, he didn't do anything about it and just gave me the same old rigmarole. I went off to the point where he actually closed the chat because I'm like, I'm sick of this. I'm so sick of it. And that is one thing that I am going to continuously call the Trump administration out to do is reinstate things like the Smith-Mundt Act and put some kind of piece of legislation in where these social media companies cannot do what they're doing to us.
Mhm. We and it comes down. It was talked about years ago, and it had to do with the difference between a publisher and a platform. TikTok classifies itself as a platform. It should not, by law, have the ability to pick and choose what to publish, which is
Right,
why Facebook got in trouble, and now they're along the lines of almost free speech.
right. And I want to kind of go back for a moment here because Julie in the comments made a great, question about Congress because a lot of people really don't know the ins and outs probably as much as I or Mike. Not to brag, it's just we're kind of nerds that way. She wants to know what does it mean to have the majority because aren't there a lot of Republicans against Trump in the Senate? So we're talking about Senate, right? Senate is where you can actually filibuster bills, basically stalemating them, regardless of whether or not they pass the House or not, where they can filibuster and stalemate it to the point where it goes nowhere. But when you have a supermajority, which is 60, because Congress, or I'm sorry, Senate has a total of 100 senators, right? It's considered a supermajority when you have 60 individuals of a specific party that are going to align. But the problem is, yes, we absolutely have people even in Senate. Now, Senate's way better than it is the House of Representatives is because there's less people, honestly. But
Hmm.
there are absolutely you got people like Lisa Collins from Maine. You got Murkowski. I can't ever remember her first name because she's that
Lisa.
irrelevant from Alaska. You got even Rand Paul's been kind of funky lately, and you have the old feeble-minded dude
Mitch
from
McConnell.
Mitch McConnell from Kentucky, and then you got John Thune, who's the majority leader. He's 50-50. John Cornyn from Texas, he's 50-50. So
Yeah, John Thune's about as effective as Mike Johnson.
that's why we're trying to tell y'all need to focus also on who you're voting for, even in Congress. Now, I know not all of us can vote on this because these are, they're per state. But if you live in these states like Maine, Kentucky, Texas, Alaska,
Mhm.
I believe Thune is from Iowa, I believe Iowa or Missouri, one of the two. Um, then talk to everybody, make it known to people
But
that you need
even
to vote
then,
these out.
like, you're not getting the most change you're gonna see is gonna be at the local level, right? So get active in your community.
Right,
Start participating in the town hall events that are run by your state representatives and your state senate and whatnot, your governor. Make sure your voice is heard because at the state level, if you can enact change at the state level, that's where you're going to see the most change, the most benefits. The federal, it takes a while to trickle down, and there's so much political speed bumps that happen within because you
hmm
have stuff that are either originates in the House or the Senate has to go through committees to be voted on. There's a calendar, and the calendar is clogged with bullshit. So it takes a lot longer to see action taken at the federal level than it does at the state level. So
right.
get active
And
in your
we want to
community.
give a good shout out to Reality Check. Thank you for correcting me. You are correct. It is South Dakota that John Thune is from. So thank you for that, brother
Hmm.
or sister. But yeah, I mean, I know that there's a lot of movement around the country for this moving into 2026. Julie, I know that you said you're from New Jersey and you're losing your mind there. But one good thing is Scott Pressler. He is a huge voice. He's basically the individual that delivered Donald Trump Pennsylvania. He was the individual that's the conservative uh, influence, I guess you can call him, because he's on social media everywhere. That's really got it famous. But he was the individual that went to all the Amish communities in Pennsylvania and had over 180,000 of them registered to vote. And guess what? Donald Trump won Pennsylvania by 100. I think it was like 150,000 votes. So he straight up won Pennsylvania for you. And after we won Pennsylvania, he made a specific promise. He said, I'm going to win us New Jersey in 2028. And I know he was there today because I follow him. He said that he's out right now trying to get people to register to vote for the 2026 elections. So he's there doing some work. Get with him if you live there. I mean, we know a lot of people personally that are there, like 𝗬𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗧𝗧 Mama and all them that do great, phenomenal work over there in New Jersey. So definitely reach out to that.
And when it comes to the midterms, you could bet your tuchus that me and Nate are gonna go through everything when it pertains to our respective states.
Hmm.
So if you live in Texas, if you live in Arizona, and you want to find out like the ins and outs of voting, by all means, we're gonna go
Like I said,
live and we're gonna talk about it.
right. And even if you're from a different state, like Julie,
Let us know.
New Jersey, let us know. If I don't already know about it, I will find out real quick because like I say, when it comes to politics, I'm a nerd that way. So is Mike. But let's
All
dive
we do is
right
read.
into the
Yep.
specifics of what's going on here with the promises made and promises kept. Border security achieved in fewer than 100 days. And what this goes through is the White House going through each promise that Donald Trump had made during his campaigning. And actually, what I really like is they give a date and a location where he made that claim. So that's really cool. But right off the bat, we all know, and honestly, this is one of those things that you can't argue with, regardless of your political affiliation. You can't say that Donald Trump isn't actually achieving this. When we will close the border, we will stop the invasion of illegals into our country. And when it
And
comes to that, that is 100% kept.
and it's amazing when you go down this list, you see all the left leaning outlets just basically agreeing like with this promise.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
the
I
promise
mean,
made. We will close the border. We will stop the invasion of illegals into our country. Like,
right. And this is one of the now I know they take an overall poll and then we'll get into the polls here. I don't advocate for polls. I think they're stupid because they're only about like 1,000 people roughly, give or take, a couple
mhm,
hundred on each side. And they try and pass that off if that's the reflection of 330, 340 million people, or the 150 million people that even voted. And it's just crazy. But taking a look here, the illegal border encounters are down 95%. Me living here in southeast Houston area, southeast Texas, we can absolutely tell. I saw an ICE raid myself here in my own hometown. Like they're out here working, getting rid of the individuals that shouldn't be here. And honestly, I don't care what you feel about it. They're illegal. They broke the law.
mhm,
8 USC 1325. They're out. Get them out.
yep. And like, just take a look at these. Like, let's choose a lefty one. CBS News. Amid Trump crackdown, illegal border crossings plunged to levels not seen in decades.
Oh, I see it down here.
Yeah, that
Okay.
one.
All right. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
Act
even illegal immigrants gotaways, right? The top threat to the public are down 99%.
wild.
Now, I know everybody likes to claim that Fox News is some kind of conservative network, even though there's like 4 total people on that network that are conservative. They're the main faces, honestly. But
Hmm.
we take a look at all these other ones like CBS, Axios, New York Post, The Times, non-biased ones like Reuters, even though they kind of been wonky lately. Migrant arrests at the U.S. border, Mexico border in March, lowest ever recorded. Right. So when it comes to border security and making the promise of him taking care of the illegal influx or the influx of illegal aliens into America, there's no question he's absolutely made that kept that promise.
100%.
The next one here he had made in Washington D.C. Well, this past year, right the day before he was inaugurated, he said we will expel every illegal alien gang member and migrant criminal operating on American soil and remove the savage gangs, 𝗬𝗓𝗪𝗪𝗧, from the United States.
How
And
can you not pronounce that?
I just did. What are you talking about? I just said it right. 𝗬𝗓𝗪𝗪𝗧. That's how you pronounce it, white boy.
Uh, you said it so white passing.
I mean, I don't speak Spanish. I'll say it. I didn't grow up with that side of the family. But on other, so taking a look here, I mean, he's designated Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and other various gangs as foreign terrorist organizations, which is absolutely phenomenal. The
Yeah.
Justice Department, 27 members of associations with Tren de Aragua charged with racketeering, narcotics, sex trafficking, robbery, armed offenses. I mean, I know they're going crazy in the Colorado and even northern Texas area right now, so they're definitely cracking down on them.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Homeland,
actually, really upset, because as a veteran, there was, a raid in Colorado where there were almost 2 dozen, active duty soldiers providing security for a nightclub that was ran by illegal alien gang members, and they found over 100 illegal aliens there conducting all sorts of crimes, prostitutions, drugs, what have you.
mm,
And the fact that there were active duty service members there providing security for such a no, totally pissed.
yeah. And it looks like we have a fan in the comments too. Reality check. I don't know why you would want to come to a podcast live that you don't agree with anybody because you're obviously very expressive in the comments. But
By all
I
means,
mean,
express
like this
yourself.
this this is the type of stuff we deal with, guys. Like this is the side of peace and tolerance and all this other jazz and inclusion and bullshit,
Express
right?
yourself. By all means.
But we're the crazy ones, right?
Be
Whatever.
loud and proud. Don't worry.
uh, but anyways,
I'll trace your IP address. I'll send it to ICE.
but yeah, I mean, when it comes to the whole gang member situation, like we've seen it everywhere. ICE has arrested 370 plus illegal immigrants as part of a major operations in Massachusetts. There's millions of operations. I mean, obviously, millions is an exaggeration, but
Inflammatory.
there are thousands of operations around the country, I should say, where they are diving into this. Like I say, I've personally had an experience with one down here where I'm at in my own city. They raided I believe it was some kind of workshop or something, where there was like 50 illegal immigrants that were there. Some of them were gang affiliated. So when it comes to that promise, there's no question about it. No question about it. I say we're doing I mean, me personally, I'm gonna say so. Let's go back here. All right, we said we were gonna
A
give
plus.
grades. A plus with the border for sure. I'd say A with the illegal alien gang members because I think you can go a little bit harsher on them. I don't care. Get them out, especially them.
Yep.
Right? And people want to cry and moan and complain about this Garcia Scott. Man, fuck all that. No, get them out.
This one, A plus, because it kind of goes with the first one.
All right. On day one, we will begin the largest deportation operation to hit A plus. We don't even have to get into that, right? But
Oh,
let's take a look at some numbers. Trump's mass deportation raids resulted in 655% spike in arrest of terrorists roaming the U.S.
wow.
Woo! Since President Trump took office, there has been 139,000 deportations.
Huh.
Nice. And then in the first 50 days, ICE arrested 32,809 illegal immigrants, nearly 75% of whom were accused or convicted criminals. Definitely A plus on that one,
A
honestly.
plus.
It goes with those. And going to the next one. I will
I will.
immediately end. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I will immediately end the border nightmare that traffickers are using to exploit vulnerable women and children. He made that July 1st, 2023.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, anything with the border, he's gonna get an A.
Right. Trafficking, all that stuff. It's like all connected in one. Because honestly, when you stop the illegal flow of back and forth between Mexico and even Canada, right? I mean, it goes the other way too. You stop drugs, you stop the illegals, obviously. You stop gang movement, you stop weapons distribution, human trafficking, all of that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw over the course of 4 years that the Biden administration lost 250,000 children Just lost them. Don't know where they
What
went.
was it? Within the first week, they found like 30,000 of them or something?
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
some
yeah.
ridiculous number like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Wild.
it was crazy. The number of accompanied illegal immigrant children reached a record low because that's the main thing that we're talking about when it comes to human trafficking, right? It is, and it peaked under Biden. 4.6% of illegal border crossings were unaccompanied minors. Crazy, man. Definitely getting an A on that one.
Mhm. Then we go down. Oh, yeah,
Go
this
ahead.
is another border one. Under my leadership, we'll seal it up and expand that wall until we have total control. I haven't really kept up on the border wall construction.
Yeah, I was gonna say this one. More than 85 miles of new border barrier. Now, so the reason why I'm probably would give a lower grade on this is i- is not directly because of the Trump administration, because I know a lot of the funding has to go through Congress in some sense, but I also know that the president during an executed or proclaimed invasion type things, he can reallocate military funding, which I believe is what he's doing here. So I would give this a B plus at this point because they are doing it. Maybe even a B, just because I think that we could do more with it. Um, so
85 miles in less than 100 days. I would say that's a high B.
yeah, I was gonna say 85 miles. I didn't see that. Okay. Yeah, I'll give that a B plus. I mean, we can always do better, right? It
Yeah.
is what it is. Go ahead with
Uh,
the next one.
you have the gotaways. You know what the gotaways are? It's the people that don't want to be looked at all. So they're the worst, and the people we're seeing. That's why they don't want to be looked at.
Mm,
Okay. So the gotaways. Um, again, anything that happens to in regards to the border, I'd
that's
give it an
fine.
A.
Right. Let me take a look here. Let's go
I
with
will. Oh, here we
I
go.
will yeah, go
This
with
was
this
the
one.
big one. I will ban all welfare and federal benefits for illegals, and then they won't come. I mean, that's true because we already saw thousands of self-deporters.
Right, and I see here that Donald Trump did in fact sign an executive order right here trying ends taxpayer subsidized of open borders. In this executive order, he ordered that sanctuary cities and illegals stop being funded through certain programs. And what the nice thing about this is, when this happened back in February, places like New York and Illinois, the bigger cities that were doing this, immediately stopped.
Yeah, too bad Californians aren't experiencing that same thing.
Mm,
And I think this one's
unfortunate,
also been taken to the court. Imagine
right?
that.
This is a nice part of it. And during that executive order, it ended food stamps for illegal immigrants, which is absolutely an A plus. Just
Like,
that alone is an A plus for me, because it's like, first of all, these people aren't even, most of them aren't even paying into these programs like we are. So the fact that they're getting things while there are people here that are hungry, that there are children that are starving that are American citizens, yeah, absolutely not.
like that third bullet, the Trump administration clawed back tens of millions paid to house illegal aliens in luxury New York City hotels and ended a $40 million contract to improve inclusion of sedentary migrants. What the hell is a sedentary migrant? They weren't very sedentary when they broke our borders.
Mm-mm. Right?
Like, kick them all out. I don't care.
And I didn't even know this one. The Department of Education revoked waivers that allowed certain colleges to divert federal funds intended for low income students and students with disabilities to illegal immigrants. That is absolutely fucked.
Like, what? What? No. Why?
I didn't even know that was a thing. This is the
See,
first time I've ever heard of it.
even we learned stuff.
Yeah,
Why?
well, oh, it's on X. I don't have X, so well, I was gonna click on that for some more. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, this whole area is definitely an A. Definitely an A. I can't give it an A plus because I mean, this is a federal thing, and yet you got states like California and whatnot still doing it. Like, I know they allocate it in their processes and things like that, but the federal funding can stop. I personally would stop it. Like, people think Trump's bad? Nah. You see me as the president.
All right, here we go. ED is revoking waivers that allowed colleges and universities in California and Oregon to divert federal TRIO funds meant for low income students, first generation college students, and individuals with disabilities to illegal immigrants.
Mhm.
So, like,
Hmm.
what are we doing? This was
Again,
beautiful. Catch and release, A plus.
A plus. A plus. But looking at some figures, I mean, like we said, anything that has to do with the border and illegals and all that other stuff is going to be an A plus up to this point
Th-
because what he's doing, I haven't seen anything wrong with it. I
This
love it.
next this next one, if
Well, hang on
you're
though.
it,
I
yeah,
want to look at the numbers though, so everybody can see it. Since taking office, the Trump administration has arrested 150,000 illegal immigrants, right? Deported 139K, and released just 9 illegals into the U.S. A staggering 99.99% decrease over that period from last year under Biden.
mhm.
And even the Washington Times confirmed that. Ooh, baby. Go ahead with the next one.
So this one, if you're a Democrat, you should be ashamed of your party because this involves Lake and Riley,
Mm,
Rachel Morin, and Jocelyn Nungary, Kayla
yeah,
Hamilton. So my administration will deliver justice for every family whose loved one has been stolen from them by migrant crime, including Lake and Riley, Rachel Morin, Jocelyn Nungary, Kayla Hamilton, and every other precious American soul that we have lost to these animals. Their memories will live in our hearts forever, and our hearts will live in their hearts forever and our hearts forever, and we will never ever forget them. This was made January 19th of this year in Washington D.C.
and one of
Um,
those pieces of what is it, 30 pieces of legislation?
it's like
But
no Democrat stood for Lake and Riley's family or Jocelyn Nungary's family, Kayla Hamilton. No Democrat stood, and they claim to care about children. They claim to care about Americans, but sat. They stayed seated when applause rang out for these families, and recognizing the atrocities that these families had to face in losing their loved ones.
right, and because of it, they put the Lake and Riley Act into law, which is absolutely amazing. If you're
Beautiful,
not familiar with that bill, go read it.
beautiful, and they actually renamed a wildlife conservation for the family of Jocelyn Nungary. So that was amazing too.
Oh, nice! I didn't know about that. Very good.
And let's see. This
Next one has to do with the Alien Enemies Act. Obviously, that's a border thing. A
the
plus right off the
wartime
bat.
era. The wartime era.
Wartime. It's a wartime act. Because I don't read the rest of the fucking sentence.
So
Can't
I will
stand these people.
I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that 1798. This was put there. 1798. That's a long time ago, right? To target and
Uh,
dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. So again, A plus. I liked it. I like everything that he's using it for. Um, especially 𝗬𝗪𝗧𝗪 Get him out of
mhm.
here. Doesn't deserve to be here. We
Now,
don't.
there's
We
some questions around the Supreme Court, though, that has to do with this as well, because they're protecting 5 Aragua individuals here in I think it's Dallas area, on a midnight ruling that superseded and surpassed the Fifth Circuit Court, and they weren't even able to review it. So the Supreme Court out here breaking their own rules, and if you want to know what that is, it's Rule 23.3, and they're even Justice Alito wrote an opinion on it saying this is absolutely bonkers. We're going outside of the chain of command essentially in the order of operations within the judicial branch by completely bypassing the Fifth Circuit and violating their own Supreme Court rules and saying that the lower courts, i.e., the Fifth Circuit, has to make their ruling. They didn't even hear the case yet before the Supreme Court stepped in and did some BS.
Yeah, that wild, and it goes to show you that there's stupidity amongst every branch. So even at the highest levels of the judiciary.
Right.
Here we go. A lot of people are exceptionally mad over the app Kamala's app for illegals will be shut down immediately within 24 hours.
And if you're not familiar with that app is, it basically tells people how to how to get here illegally, man.
How to AOC the system.
Absolutely crazy. And it was shut down within, I believe, the same day that he was inaugurated, honestly.
He had a lot of movement that day.
I mean, on day one, he signed what? I don't even remember how many the first day. It was a record number though. I know that.
Yeah. Today I will announce a new plan to end all sanctuary cities in North Carolina and all across our country, and we'll bring down the full weight of the federal government on any jurisdiction that refuses to cooperate. We're seeing that.
Hmm.
We're
I say
seeing
I
that.
give him an A because I know he's still fighting it. That A plus is once they were all shut down, but definitely it's one of those things. It's like you can only do so much before somebody tries to push back. So I overall, what he's been doing, definitely an A.
Yeah. Hopefully we find something that's not border related.
Right. Well, on this page, that's it for that for now. But I know that they've got plenty of other things. I mean, there's things that we can personally go over ourselves
Hmm.
and talk about. I know that when it comes to some of his nominations, right? Like the whole Pam Bondi situation, I
I
think is
think there could have been a
absolutely
strong.
an F.
I think I'll give her a D because there are some good things that she's doing, but I think as far as strength, I'm not really seeing it. So the Epstein, I have a problem with the Epstein documents. I have a problem with holding people accountable for breaking the law. So that's
Hmm.
why I give her that D.
Yeah, I guess I
That's,
because of what they did this last week with the two judges that were breaking federal law, they finally did something. I bump it up to a D. But it seemed as though for like the first 90 days or so, she was just more interested in getting in interviews and things like that. And I was like, nah, chick, see, we ain't gonna do that. We're gonna hold you accountable. You and Cash Patel said day one. Now, I give you an extra week because there was some foolery going on at the FBI headquarters in New York between the time Christopher Wray was resigned or whatever it was and Cash Patel. There's about a month and a half in between those, right? So I'll give you a week because they didn't give you all the documents like you requested. However, you have had them for 2 months now. Why do we not have the Epstein list? This is not okay.
nope, not okay. And we told
D,
you
Donald.
we told you a while ago that we'd call them out.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that it took so long to get the J like not that I care about it, right? Because I don't care about the JFK files. We already know the government did it. They ain't gonna do nothing about it. I don't care. Same thing with the MLK. We know who did it. They ain't gonna do nothing about it. I don't care. But the fact that it took so long to get these when you said day one, yeah, we're giving you a low grade on that. D,
Yep,
F, whatever you have it, because you promised day one. We didn't get it.
yep. I want I want the Epstein files. I want the 9/11 files.
9/11, man. But the thing is that I give him an F minus on the 9/11 because he hasn't even mentioned them.
I don't even grade them because a grade would show progress, or a submission of some type,
That's why
right?
I make up a grade F minus on the whole 9/11 thing.
It's just not submitted, not
Crazy.
not graded.
Incomplete. You get an I. What about so let's talk about this. The one thing that a lot of people are freaking out about is the whole economy and trying to equate the stock market to it. But let's go economics first because we all know according to Jen Psaki and Joe Biden, per her statement several times, the president of the United States, unlike his predecessor, doesn't use the stock market as a measurement of the economy. Damn, I did that verbatim too. So
That was pretty good.
but what's your take on everything economic wise?
Okay, economic wise,
Now, just to give you some stats, it was released today that officially there's over $5 trillion of new revenue being planned out over the next 2 to 5 years, I think is the total time frame for reinvestment into America.
I
That
give it.
means new
I give it.
jobs, new factories, more
If we're,
benefits, more pay.
so if we're looking at the economy, we have to factor in trade policy, tariffs, foreign negotiations.
Hmm.
I would say factoring all that in, solid. I would give it, and I like being controversial. I'd give it an A. I personally would give it an A, just because we haven't had a leader essentially bring the trade corporation to its knees through negotiated principle,
Hmm.
and we haven't seen 150 nations at once call the leader of the free world. So,
True.
and we haven't had a leader hold China accountable for their um, trade manipulation. So I give it
Right.
an A.
Right. And I know, I mean, for me personally, I do too. Probably, mm, mm, trying to think about it.
Low A. We'll do an A minus.
Mm. So an A is anywhere from a 93 to like a 95, 96, right? I'm gonna give him a 93. It's an A. It's teetering on an A minus, right? And that just has to be because I thought that a lot of these deals, especially with people that are a little bit more loyal isn't the right word, but depended upon us, like Canada, Mexico, South Korea, Taiwan, um, a couple other ones like that, right? I thought that their
Mhm,
deals would be done by now. I mean, we have the proposals, but I thought they would be, done, right?
mhm,
But so that's why I'm kind of like, eh. But see, my whole thing with this whole trade situation is when it comes to an economic standard, I think he's an A, solid A, just because
yeah,
of all the investments from not only manufacturing American companies, but foreign countries as well coming outside in. A, straight up A. When it comes to trade, that's where I'm like A minus A, right? Just
mhm,
because any president could have done what he's doing right now by positioning us in an area where we can get these new trade deals that are beneficial. So when it comes to that, that's an A plus, right? It's just I thought there would be a little bit more traction at this point with it. Um, I mean, obviously, it's only been what 3.5 weeks since this has really been implemented because it was what April 4th, April 5th when the tariffs went into place. So we're sitting around almost 4 weeks at this point. So I guess I can't be too critical because we're only about a month in, and there's a 90-day stay on the larger amounts of tariffs, unbeknownst to the media and whatnot that are falsely putting out there that he just stopped all the tariffs. No, he didn't. The majority of them are only at 10% rather than the higher amounts. There's only like 3 or 4 of them that are at zero because what they're offering in regards to their proposals. Like
mhm,
I think Taiwan, um, Vietnam was another one that's going 0 for 0. So that's where we're going to be seeing those zero in that area. So we're definitely, I mean, me and Mike have been saying it for quite a while. By the end of summer into fall, and definitely by the end of the year, you're going to see massive changes, right? Massive growth in the stock market because these trade deals are going to be done by
mhm.
90 days. That's around mid July. The end of summer, August, is going to be a massive increase for us because the benefit of these new trade deals is going to make it a level playing field that hasn't been for decades,
Yeah,
especially when NAFTA went into place back in the 90s, 1994, absolutely murdered our manufacturing when you take a look at those numbers.
yeah. I like even the stock market. Like, it's a good time. I would say it's a good time to invest because that ROI is going to kick in towards the end of summer, beginning of fall, and you you potentially have a good chance to make some money. So
right?
it's all about the game and how you play.
I mean, right now, even with just talks of,
What do we have? 2 dozen?
yeah, roughly about that now, I bet. We haven't gotten an updated number since like I think last Wednesday or so. So it's got to be somewhere around there, right? Of final proposals. But even with just talks of it, you could see that the Dow is back almost to where it was. It was around 43,000, right? Everybody uses the Dow as like the biggest measuring stick of the stock market, and I understand why. But we're over 40,000 now.
Mhm.
And take a look at this time last year, or that's year to date. Sorry. Look, this time last year, this is March. I mean, we were shit at the end of April, right? 38,000. We're better off where we were last year at this time. You can see those numbers, right, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So that what? We're the 28th today, so this was as of Monday, the end of today. So we're literally almost 300. We're at 364 days from this number, the over 4,000 40,000. We're up over 2,000 almost from what we were last year. So that's just with talks of the trade deals going through.
Mhm.
So wait until these trade deals start dropping. You're going to see Japan, Vietnam, Taiwan, all of them. It's going to go crazy. Let's see. And going into the what other areas here? Here we got Mike.
Ukraine-Russia conflict?
What happened today?
I don't know.
Russia officially declared a ceasefire.
Well, with that,
Officially,
I'll change my grade then.
right? I mean,
Okay.
they've been talking about it for a week, but there was conversations that a lot of people were speculating what was happening between Trump and Zelensky at the Pope's funeral over the weekend, right? There was that infamous photo of them leaning into each other talking. Now I know that's what it was about. It was about the ceasefires that was going to come. And Putin today they have a celebration of winning World War II on this day every year, I guess. During that, he announced the ceasefire with Ukraine. So for me personally, he did say day one, so I can't give him an A, right? Can't be biased here. I would say probably a C, honestly, because he has gotten some progress done, right? He has facilitated it. Well, maybe because you got to think
There's a lot
Zelensky
there's a
hasn't
there's a lot of factors that play into
right.
that,
That's what I was
and,
just thinking.
I don't think Trump expected the amount of pushback from that little weasel and,
Right.
the Democrat Party and
And that claim of day one from Trump happened prior to what Joe Biden authorized in December of
yeah.
last year. So
I would give it a solid B. Not a B plus, not a B minus, a solid B
I'd
because
say a B too.
it's
That's actually good. I'm gonna upgrade it just because of what not only what Biden did, but also Zelensky has been very.
he's been a little bitch.
I mean, in I can't even say it any other way because Russia's actually offered. This isn't the first time they've offered a peace deal or a ceasefire. This is about the third or fourth time that they've offered it. The last two times or three times, he's declined it outrightly.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he's crying, saying, "Oh, our people are being murdered, and I need more money."
I need more money, but I'm building a ski resort.
Right? Jesus.
So, yeah, Trump's grade B for me. It was an uphill battle, you know. Um, I fully support his relationship with Putin. They are respectable. They are respective adversaries.
And honestly, I think Putin is kind of afraid of him.
I think I think it's purely a respect factor because he respects the strength.
Right. I guess that's a better way to say it. It's like he respects the fact that he doesn't know what Trump will do, right?
Nobody knows what Trump will do. Even Trump don't know what he's
Exactly.
gonna do until he does it.
Like when it comes to Biden, like he's like "Fuck that old man. Like he ain't gonna do
We
shit.
didn't know what Biden would do either until Jill commanded it.
It's crazy. But
What else we got? Um, so what other day one shit do we have? I mean, we could talk about his cabinet members.
yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
RFK,
we kind of already did. The
RF.
RFK, I thought he gonna do a little bit more, but I mean, honestly, I give him a
I'm
B plus, A minus.
I give him a solid B. I did expect more.
Right.
I'm happy about the ban of the dyes, but I expected it. I didn't expect the freaking half a year window to wait.
No, it's a year and a half.
Year and a
That's
half.
why I say a B plus, man.
So like
Like,
solid
hey,
B. I
we know you're
expect
poisoning Americans, but we're gonna give you another year and a half to do it. Okay.
I give him a good grade based off the goals that he has in mind and what he's done so far. And I think one of the few things he's done is to ban the dyes.
The reason I can't go lower than a B plus is because there's a lot of stuff that y'all don't know about, but I've been following it. He's actually what he's been doing over the last 100 days is revamping the entire health department.
And I know that
Getting rid
part.
getting rid of people that shouldn't be there by the masses.
Hmm.
So all these people that have been perpetuating the poisoning of America and the downplaying of what pharmaceuticals do to the body and all this stuff. He's getting rid of all of them. So that's why I say I almost gave him an A minus, but like then you said the 100, a year and a half. I'm like, B
You know,
plus.
what's funny is you and I are very critical of the Department of Education and Rockefeller thing, and
Hmm.
here we are using a beef rating standard.
Yeah. Now I know Julie has contention with it too. Is the same contention I have? You think that he hasn't done enough because you haven't seen it, right? But the thing is with something that is as corrupt as the health department was in regards to individuals acting as if, oh, we're professionals, right? We're doctors, we're scientists. Should got to listen to us. You gotta also remember those individuals are also getting kickbacks from pharmaceuticals, so their claws and everything were reined into the system. So he has to root all of that out and all of those people out before he can really make any good change because you got to get the people to replace them that are going to actually look out for our health, right? So that's why I give him a B plus. I say don't be too critical. Like if we get towards what is it? Is it almost May? If we get towards like July and we're not seeing more, then that's going to be a problem. But I know he's already talking about getting rid of pharmaceutical advertisements, which will absolutely be huge because people don't need to be knowing about this stuff just because a lot of it's garbage. Hey, this will help you with your blood pressure, but it can give you kidney disease, heart disease, asthma, diabetes, brain cancer, lymphatic cancer. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean,
Loss of memory, depression, suicidal thoughts. I'm like, why the hell would anybody take that?
you know, uh, it's wild. And I was just telling you earlier how the mifepristone has a 11% chance of um, giving a woman severe side effects like hemorrhaging or potential life-threatening injuries. So this
I
what
don't know.
big pharma pushes. Not the last one we should do is probably Department of Education. A plus.
Yup.
It gone.
The reinstitution of paying your damn bills.
Yep. And hey, speaking of education, for all of you Democrats out there, let's say, oh, red states are so much dumber than blue states. Well, well,
Say it.
Mississippi and Louisiana, fourth and eighth grade math scores surpass New York and California.
Ooh.
Man, them there southern states, they're pretty smart. Tell you what,
Goddamn damn Cajuns out here being smart and shit.
I may not be able to, I may not have all my teeth, but I could do math.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We couldn't really get to everything, guys. And we don't like to take up all y'all's time, but Honestly, I think overall the administration gets a a solid B for me up to this point. I think that they're doing good. We could do better in areas, need to do better in other areas, but overall they've done great. But we welcome you guys all in. Thank you for joining us. Come back here next week, 7 p.m., and then also join us on Radio Debang on Saturdays at noon, which hopefully that time will be changing soon. We'll let you guys know about that. Even to all our haters like Reality Check out there, you can say all you want. You don't like us, but you're here watching us, supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Mike, take us home.
As far as my grade, solid B plus. There's some things that you know, and I think we also need to take a pause because we
Mhm.
also have that aspect of expedited results, right? So I'm gonna give it a solid B plus. I expect better things going forward. I expect more results. I expect a great economy.
Right.
And if it doesn't happen, all hell's gonna pay. I'm gonna call you the hell out. So other than that, thank you for joining us on America's greatest podcast, The Legislative Lounge. If you're not already, follow us, please. Not on our just personal accounts, Professor Mike and Nate Big on TikTok and Instagram, right? But follow The Legislative Lounge on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, not TikTok, Rumble, and Twitch, and Patreon. We love you. God bless.